Hello there, my very good friends. On today's wrestling news, we're going to talk about some AEW Creative Frustrations.
I've got a major update on Bryan Danielson's AEW future.
A former WWE Champion's contract expires before WrestleMania.
And what WWE really thinks of this SmackDown tag team. I'm Adam Wilborn.
And I'm Andy Murray.
And this is the spooky news.
Yes, stabbiest news team in the game. It's Halloween, so we've got to...
We'll kill you.
Yeah, project an image of scariness at least. Yeah. Right, let's talk about AEW Creative. A report came through. It was actually yesterday afternoon, but it was too late for us to talk about it yesterday, so we're going to talk about it
it's
today.
American time, innit?
It was Big Bad Dave on Wrestling Observer Radio talking about how AEW's creative process has changed, and this sounds an awfully lot like WWE before Triple H came along. I'll just read this stuff through to you. He noted the creative process has basically kind of become like more of a last minute thing, stating that creative is now being decided at much later periods than previous, adding that plans are being communicated and decisions are being made later than ever before. Sometimes people will make it to show day without even knowing what they're doing on that show. He drew a line between modern day AEW and WWE of previous years, where it felt like we were doing a story like this every single week on them.
I mean, stuff was previously planned, it's just it was all torn up by the time you got there.
Yeah, by a psychopath. And he called the situation very frustrating for talent, which is understandable. Some wrestlers are still allowed input into their creative, but they aren't given some people aren't given a clear long-term direction. It's not communicated to them, meaning that they can come up with ideas, but they don't know where it's ultimately going, so it's like a week-to-week confusing thing. This is why, according to Meltzer, AEW shows maybe sometimes feel chaotic. Now, Jerry Lynn actually responded to this. He's a AEW producer and coach. He's been there since day one.
Yeah, at least he's in Nickelback as well.
Yeah, he is. And like Nickelback, it's been a while. That's the wrong butt rock band, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, don't Google what Aaron Lewis is up to these days, by the way. So Jerry Lynn actually responded to Wrestle Purists, who had aggregated the story on X, Twitter. I'll just read you Jerry Lynn's reply. Because wrestlers and God knows who else have continued to leak info to the Sheets, podcast, etc. So Tony tries to keep things confidential. You wouldn't want to know everything before you see a movie. Anyone who leaks info is doing damage to the product and the industry. So when he says you wouldn't want to know everything before you see a movie, some people took that as actors coming in and not being told a script. He clarified, no, fans.
Yeah.
If you're a moviegoer, you're not reading the Wikipedia plot before you go in. Maybe you are, I don't know, but that would be weird.
You're insane.
Yeah, that would be completely unhinged. So yeah, that's the whole situation. Look, I think both of these are probably true.
Yeah.
I think, going by Jerry's reply, it does sound that Tony keeps a lot more to the vest and maybe doesn't tell people plans until later in the show, and you can argue if that's good or bad. I would say, from a standpoint of talent fulfillment, bad.
Yeah.
However, if he wants to stop stuff getting leaked, I guess that will work. Does that balance out the badness from not telling people stuff till late? I don't think so.
And I think this was arguably a concern as well. Like I said, WWE had this problem as well, but it was more a top-down thing that they did have teams that worked on stuff all week long.
Yeah.
It's just Vince would come along and decide that day, actually, I had a dream, and now I hate this wrestler. So things would just be ripped up on the day. I think this was a concern from the moment, less so obviously with Tony Khan, with the Jacksonville Jaguars and Fulham, but I think the moment that it expanded from Dynamite to Dynamite and Rampage, to Dynamite, Rampage, Dark Elevation and Collision, to now Ring of Honor as well, I think it's a lot of stuff to take on, and it's a lot of plates for him to be spinning.
It's interesting to think about how the AEW backstage environment has changed as well, because Jerry Lynn's talked about people leaking stuff to media. Well, AEW in its early days was notorious for nothing getting out of that
So many
company.
brilliant surprises that we knew nothing about.
They kept so much stuff locked down, and multiple media people have spoken about this openly, about how hard it was to get stuff out of AEW. If what Jerry Lynn is tweeting is accurate, and we've no reason to believe it's not, he's in the company.
Yeah.
We are not. We're just a couple of morons on YouTube. It sounds like people are just a lot looser with what gets out of the company. So what's caused that shift? Why is that happening as much? I think it's quite interesting to ponder, but please let us know in the comment section below what you think about this Creative Frustration, and also tell me your favorite Misfit song, because it's Halloween and you should do that. The correct answer is Horror Business, but there you go.
Well, sticking with AEW, a major update on Bryan Danielson's future with them. According to Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio, his contract is due to expire in September of 2024. He signed a 3-year contract with them in the summer of 2021, obviously debuting All Out on the 5th of September.
It's a bit wonky.
Now, of course, with the injury things, Tony Khan could extend his contract to say, well, you haven't worked this time, so I'm going to hold you to it. But Meltzer said that he doesn't think that Khan is going to be a dirty guy in this situation if Bryan wants to be finished. Danielson obviously recently talked about the fact that he wants to kind of scale everything back as an in-ring performer by next August. Obviously, he's doing lots more backstage roles on Collision, for example. But I will say, and this is a purely selfish thing, and I think you might agree with me on this one. Obviously, Danielson, it was recently revealed, he's going to be out for the rest of the year with a broken orbital bone. So, technically, Bryan, you said, I have 1 year left in the beer. I'm not counting the rest of this year because you're not wrestling, so I'm going to hold you to it. I'm going to hope that he sticks around a little bit longer because there's so many things I still want to see him do, Andy.
Yeah, I think it would be a pretty... Tony Khan would he'd be being a little stinker, wouldn't he, if he added time on, if a guy just wants to step away and have more time with his family. That would be a bit of a rotten guy move. I wouldn't expect him to make that. Because for the most part, Tony Khan's pretty good with his talent. Like, he doesn't release people, like, he doesn't let people go until the end of their contracts, aside from, like,
wrong-uns,
Jimmy Havoc stuff. Yeah. So, like, he by all accounts, he looks after his talent pretty well. So I wouldn't expect him to do that.
Yeah, I think he won't hold him to it. But I also think, and we know about this with Moxley when he was world champion, they do have a good relationship in terms of talent saying, I haven't got a contract officially, but I'll do the right thing here. And I think, if Danielson said, all right, technically my contract expires at the end of September 2024 even, but I actually really want to wrestle Big Bill. So, can you book me in the October the 7th, 2024 episode of Dynamite? I think they would be like, if that's the last match you want to do, fine.
Call back to the classic WWE feud. Of course, when Daniel Bryan came back from injury after all those years, we were really yearning for that big Cass match.
Yeah.
But look, Big Bill kicks ass now.
Yeah, so. Big Bill, Bryan Danielson would kick ass. Back then it was Daniel Bryan versus Big Ass, as it said on the screen.
Yeah, putting his arm up to obscure the sea. I want as much Danielson as possible. I think he's the greatest wrestler working today. But ultimately, I would rather he just makes a nice choice for him and his family.
Yeah, and it's just such a shame he's going to miss out on rest of the year, what with being injured now and Dominic Mysterio just streaking away with it.
No, I was going to say, like, Tony D'Angelo is really going to catch up with him now, isn't he? But yeah. Hey, look, second call to the comment section. Let us know who you want to see Bryan Danielson face
down here
before he goes. Speaking of people who might go
good
places, nice. Drew McIntyre. We know, like, his contract is a whole saga. We've spoken about him a bunch. Originally, it was reported that his deal was going to expire in, like, it was either late this year or super early next year, but he's been injured, so time's been added on. It's a bit of a different circumstance to where Bryan's like, I'm old, I want to be at home. It's a bit of a different situation. WWE have
I'm old and I'm tired and I want to go home and play with my children.
Exactly. Fightful Select have come through with an update. Basically, they've not agreed anything yet. With regards to Drew and the WWE extension, it's revealed that he currently has less than 5 months left on his deal, so he could feasibly be out of WWE by WrestleMania 40, is the situation with him. The two sides have not come to terms, despite online rumors, probably from one of those BS accounts that just make stuff up.
He just tweets it.
Hi, I'm WrestleBurk, and exclusively revealed with poor capitalization and typos and just...
My friend Scottish Gary told me, okay, he's re-signed.
Okay, the new. I am a...
Okay, the Drew.
Oh, there you go. There's a juice loose about the hoose. That's going to be his first feud in AEW if he goes there.
Move heaven and earth WWE to keep him, if you ask me.
Drew whips ass.
Especially with this heel turn, I think, yes, there's an argument to be made. You could just have him turn heel after, say, Crown Jewel, have a lovely run, and then put someone over on the road to WrestleMania. But that's like, 5 months, like you said?
Ages.
I think there's so much more he can do in this company.
I think he'd be great anywhere. I would like to see him somewhere new.
It'd be fun to see him in AEW, yeah.
It'd be fun to see him anywhere. Like, I think this new version of him has done wonders to revitalize interest and stuff in him. And we've been calling for something like this heelish run for ages and ages. But I like people jumping shit, man. Like, I like Jade going to WWE. It's fresh, it's new, it's exciting. And Drew's been in WWE now since 2017 he came back. Before that, he was obviously associated until he got released. And he killed it on the indies and came back. I'd love to see him go to Japan or something weird. I want to see him in CMLL. Why the heck not? Why the heck not?
Yeah, but where would you like to see him? Would it be in AEW, Drew? Let us know in the comments.
Okay.
Let's talk about A10 Dan Under. Grayson Waller and Austin Theory. I think they've been doing great stuff on SmackDown. And, according to a report from Sean Rossap on Fightful Select, WWE kind of agrees. Higher-ups think they are very much high-upside wrestlers. Very high potential is what Sapp says. Waller in particular is seen as very easy to do business with, is a good listener with buzz-generating capabilities when necessary. He's also done stuff with Taylor Swift's fan base recently.
We've seen that buzz generation in action right there, haven't we?
Yeah.
What's he up to?
And WWE sees Theory in a role similar to Baron Corbin's, where he can take the heat for returning wrestlers without impacting his own booking too much. Like I said, I really like the pairing of these two arseholes. I mean, granted, they did both get simultaneously punched by Kevin Owens on SmackDown this week, or last week. But yeah, I think they should do big things with them, and I feel like, Andy, someone should talk about something that they should be done with this team before the end of the year, and maybe we do a 10-point list about it.
Yeah, maybe that'll be out tomorrow at 7:45 p.m. UK time. I can't remember the Eastern time because the
time difference is weird.
Yeah,
Raw was on at midnight last night.
Yeah,
I still didn't watch it, but it was on at midnight last night.
Why would you stay up till 3 in the morning? It's psycho behaviour, Michael.
Guess who's going to do it?
Psycho Mike. Big Mike. Right, what was I trying to say? Actually, you know what? I think that the Baron Corbin comparison for Austin Theory is kind of perfect.
Yeah.
Right? I don't think Austin Theory is has a lot of people think he's going to be this all-time megastar. I don't see that. But as just an annoying heel agitator who puts people over and is a pretty solid worker, that's kind of perfect for him. There's a role for that in WWE, and Baron Corbin's been really good at it over the years. I definitely think Grayson Waller has more potential. He's more annoying. He feels more authentically annoying as well. So when he goes on Twitter, and what was it he said about Taylor Swift? She's a 6 or something like that. And then he got
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he went completely nuts, man. And look, you'd never want to incite the Swifties. Never.
Oh, no.
They are hopelessly dedicated to Taylor Swift, who became a billionaire at the weekend, I believe, because their tour was so successful.
Must be nice.
Yeah, fair play. Shout outs to her. What's your favourite version of Bad Blood? The OG or the Kendrick Lamar version?
Kendrick.
Yeah, me too. It's just heavier.
Yeah.
It's heavy. I will say, I did watch Miss Americana, the documentary thing.
But is it?
Oh, they're going to come for me now. Yeah, it was garbage. But
when I used to work in the radio, I made the mistake of comparing one boy band to One Direction, and pretty much got death threats.
Yeah, yeah. That's if you think wrestling fans are crazy, pop music is a completely different ballgame, brother.
This is a piece of piss compared to navigating the music industry.
Yeah, we did listen to I'm not a pop music guy or whatever, but when we drive home to Aberdeen, we put I put an album on, Rebecca, my partner, puts an album on, and we had a Taylor Swift on. I was like, okay, I get it. I see it. Grayson Waller, leave the Swifties alone. Just, hey, whoa, well, there you go. He just showed me a picture of him in Danzig. Crazy.
Right, let's move over to your questions at WhatCulture WWE. Of course, you want to get in touch with us. First question today comes from Sahil Dayanand. Sorry if I've got your name wrong or pronounced it badly there, Sahil even. Do you think that Damian Priest will win the World Heavyweight Championship at Crown Jewel via cash-in? And also, do you think he'll hold it till Mania with LA Knight taking the title away from Priest? Love from South Africa. Thank you, Sahil.
Yeah, I think there's all kinds of interesting possibilities when it comes to Mr. Money in the Bank and LA Knight, whether together or apart. I think that Priest should win it very soon. I think that the Seth Rollins injured back, struggling to make it story is pretty solid and a pretty good way to transition it over. Should he do it on Crown Jewel or an episode of Raw? I will tell you my thoughts on when he should use it on the video, the 10 things WWE must do before 2024, coming out tomorrow. So I'm not going to give that away, but I think he'd be a very fitting successor, and I think him versus LA Knight would be a hot match for WrestleMania.
Yeah, I like that for Mania, and I think he is going to cash in this weekend, to be perfectly honest. But for an extended preview of our thoughts on Crown Jewel, check out me and Hamlet talking about it on Friday.
The Rebecca Black. There you go. Remember her?
Eddie Zamari says, hey guys, so Nakamura keeps saying he wants his opponent to be revealed. What if open challenge at Survivor Series, CM Punk or Randy Orton?
I could see Randy Orton more than
Yeah.
CM Punk. I don't get the impression that CM Punk for Survivor Series is a thing. I do believe the reports that have come out about WWE not wanting to set expectations and just completely pouring cold water on this stuff. Don't get me wrong, the content would be popping and I want it to happen. But I believe that CM Punk is quite preoccupied with taking care of Larry after Larry. Larry's he's been shooting hard, man.
Yeah.
He's torn his little dog ACL. Go on, Larry, get through it. So Orton, 100%, like, it's been reported that he's about a month away. That would kind of add up.
A huge pop, yeah.
Yeah, huge bib. See, I can do the gimmicks. I'm good. Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah, no offense to Nakamura, I don't think they'd use CM Punk for that storyline, if I'm honest.
Nakamura, more like Wakamura. Because he's I'm joking. I like.
I'm into a Randy Orton return there, and obviously the whole CM Punk not returning at Survivor Series is a complete work. He's going to be showing up, so tune in, and if you're going, expect him to be there. And if he's not, smash the place up.
If you're not going,
don't do that, obviously.
If you're not going, watch the live stream right here.
Who's gonna do it though?
I don't know. Who is going to do that? We'll find out.
I'll tell you what. If I wasn't doing that, I'd be pretty jelly.
Well, I'm going to do it with who's me and Michael Sidgwick. We're going to do it. Biggest marks in the game.
That could be
Hell
that.
yeah.
I'd pay to see that.
I would.
Sid Sidge through Survivor Series. Oh boy.
Survivor Series looks pretty great this year, to be honest. Fired up.
Awesome. Jarhead Judas says, potentially hot take idea. WWE should reinstate the King of the Ring and use it to solidify, not that he truly needs it, but stay with me, Gunther as the next dominant world heavyweight champion. Double down, make it a single night tourney again. I love King of the Ring, man.
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk about King of the Ring coming back and various formats and stuff over the past year or so. It's not yet come to fruition. I'm a King of the Ring person as well. Like, that was very prominent when I was a youngin', getting involved in pro wrestling. So I have a lot of affection and affinity for it. Not just for the classics, the early 90s and all this stuff, and then Steve Austin and whatever. But even stupid things like Rikishi jumping off the top of a cage in the tournament.
Yes.
And things like that. So yeah, I'd 100% run it, and Gunther would be a leading contender to win it for sure.
Taker beat the crap out of DDP at King of the Ring.
I think he did.
When he was stalking his Zara.
He probably shouldn't have done some stalking there.
Yeah.
Silly Dallas.
Well, he should have done some better booking, let's be perfectly honest. And yeah, what do you reckon to King of Das Ring in Bash in Berlin on one night?
What about King of Da Ring and someone cool wins it? Like Otis.
Or
who's
big jump from AEW.
Who's coming in? Who's the kid? Oh wow. Well, okay. Someone's taking the bump. Danhausen!
Sorry, we said someone cool.
It is Halloween.
Yeah, you said someone cool, and I've got Nick Jackson. So.
Oh yeah, I love Danhausen, man.
Yeah. Happy Halloween. But yes, I like the idea of Gunther being a very dominant world champion, but he's already doing amazing things with the Intercontinental Championship, and you can do amazing things as well if you just click on this video. Happy Halloween!
Get sliced.